Let me save you a lot of time, stress, and probably a lot of money. Because Italy is not for everyone. Many people are in love with the idea of moving to Italy, but don't really know the reality of it. And that's why this move can become a very miserable and a very expensive mistake. So in this video, I'm gonna help you answer one very simple question. Is Italy actually right for you? Or would you be better off staying right where you are? Or maybe in a completely different place? I'm going to describe a few very common types of people. And I think you're gonna recognize yourself in at least one of these. Some of these people are very happy in Italy. Others, not so much. Now, this is not about judging anyone. This is about helping you make a smart, honest decision before completely changing your life. So let's start with the first one. The first type of person is what I call the escape artist. This is someone who isn't really moving to Italy because they love Italy. They're moving because they want to escape something. A job they hate, a life they feel stuck in, a country they're angry at, or sometimes just trying to escape themselves. And look, I completely understand this feeling. Almost everyone has felt this at some point. This idea that if you change place or change situation, everything will feel new and better. But here's the hard truth. If your life is messy where you are now, it will probably still be messy in Italy, just in Italian. And that's not because Italy is a bad place. It is because they brought the same problems with them. A new country doesn't fix your relationships. It doesn't fix your problems. It doesn't fix your personality. And it definitely doesn't fix your patience. Italy is a beautiful place to build a life, but it is a terrible place to run away from one. And the dangerous part here is that you will only realize this once you've already made the move. If you see yourself in this and you're using Italy as a reset button, pause. Do the hard work where you are first. It's easier. Stabilize your money, your relationships, your routine, and your health if possible. Then move to Italy as a choice and not as an emergency plan. That's the difference between a fresh start and a fresh disaster. Now, the next type of person is even more common, and this one gets shocked even faster. The second type of person I like to call the control freak. We all know this one. This is someone who needs everything to work in a very specific way. They like systems, they like clear rules, they like efficiency, they like knowing exactly how things are supposed to work. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, in countries like Germany, Switzerland, Japan, this mentality works perfectly. But Italy is not really a system-based country. It's more of a people-based country. Things don't happen because the process says so. It happens because you know someone, or someone likes you, or maybe because today is a good day. And sometimes they don't happen at all. And nobody can really explain why. If you need everything to be practical, logical, predictable, Italy will drive you mad. Simple things can take weeks. A small mistake can send you right back to the beginning. And the same office will give you 3 different answers on 3 different days. Some people learn to laugh about this. Control freaks usually don't. You feel powerless, you feel angry, and you feel the urge to fight Italy instead of just living in it. And here's the important part. If this is you, it doesn't mean Italy can't work for you. It just means you have to change how you approach it. So if this is you, be honest with yourself. Can you really handle it? So here's a simple test for you. Try to do something very basic, very simple, like getting a visa, a residence permit, or any official document. And try to do it quickly. You will probably start with a list of documents and then a different list of documents. Then you'll be told you're missing some documents that no one ever talked about before. And then they'll probably tell you to come back next week or next month. And at some point, you'll probably realize something very important about Italy. In Italy, things don't move in the speed you planned them to move. They move at the speed of the system. And the system has its own rhythm. Let me give an example from my own life. When I tried to convert my driving license to an Italian one, and this is about 10 or 11 years ago, the first time I tried, I was told it was impossible, that I would have to do driving lessons again and theory test and then the test to get an Italian driver's license. So I just let it go and I tried again a year later. And that time I was told, no, all you need is to translate your driver's license and some other documents and get it approved in the Foreign Affairs Office with the apostille. I think many people heard about that. And then bring it to us. So I did that. I ran around for months. I collected the papers. I verified them. I came back. I waited more. And it took about a year. And a year later, I came back to the same office, same town. And then at that time, they just gave me my driver's license. No paperwork, no nothing. They just based it on my foreign driver's license. No questions, no documents, no tests, no drama. Same country, same system, different day. It's a completely different reality depending on the day, the person, and the mood. By the way, if this kind of real, honest perspective about Italy is helpful to you, please subscribe. It's free and it really helps the channel. And if you've had a similar experience, I would love for you to share it in the comments. And this brings me to the next type of person. This one usually gets hit even harder by this type of reality. The third person is what I call the comfort addict. This is someone who's used to a very comfortable, very convenient life. Same-day deliveries, big supermarkets, everything online, everything fast. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what modern life looks like in many countries. But in Italy, especially outside the big cities, it doesn't work like that. Shops close in the middle of the day. Sometimes they just close. Not because it's a holiday and not because there's a sign. Just because you don't always have what you want nearby. You often need a car. You often need to plan ahead. And sometimes you drive 30 minutes just to find out the place you needed is also closed. For some people, this feels charming and human. For the comfort addict, it quickly becomes exhausting. They start to feel stuck, they start to feel limited, and they start to miss their old life more than they expected. Now, if this is you, it doesn't mean Italy can't work for you. It just means you have to make the right adjustments. Choose big cities. They will give you a lot of comfort and convenience like you're used to. And just accept that sometimes things take longer. Some of you will just learn to slow down and enjoy this kind of life. Others will stay frustrated forever. Now, next person is something much more emotional. I call this one the lonely romantic. This is someone who doesn't dream about Italy as a place, but much more as a feeling. They imagine long dinners, friendly neighbors, deep conversations, and a warm social human life. And Italy can be all of that. But here's the part that kind of surprises many people. Italy is very social, but it's not automatically inclusive. Most Italians already have their friends, their cycles, their families, and breaking into those cycles takes time. Sometimes, a lot of time. And if you don't speak the language, well, it's even harder. I've seen people move here with a lot of hope and slowly become very lonely. And it's not because people are unfriendly. It's because building connections in a new place is much harder than it looks. Now, if this is you, it doesn't mean you shouldn't move to Italy, but it does mean you need to come with realistic expectations and an active plan. First of all, you have to learn the language. You have to join things, and you have to show up again and again. And you have to accept that it can take months or maybe years to really feel at home. Some people are patient enough for that, some aren't. So if you recognize yourself in this one, ask yourself a very honest question. Are you ready to build a social life from zero, slowly, and sometimes painfully? Are you willing to be lonely for a while? Because like everything in Italy, it usually takes time. And now let me talk about the next type, because this one is the difference between being happy and being miserable. There's another type of person I want to talk about. I call this type the realist. This is not someone who thinks Italy is perfect. This is not someone who thinks it's easy. It's someone who understands that every place you move to comes with trade-offs. The realist knows that Italy will be slower, less predictable, and sometimes very frustrating, but they also know what they're getting in return. A different rhythm of life, more human interaction, more beauty and normal days, and a way of living that feels more real. The realist doesn't move to Italy to escape. They don't move for perfection. They move because with all the problems included, this kind of life still makes sense to them. When something doesn't work, they don't take it personally. They adapt. They find another way. Or they simply come back another day. These are people that usually end up very happy in Italy. And it's again, not because Italy is easy, but because their expectations are realistic. If you recognize yourself in the last one, the realist, Italy might actually be a wonderful place for you. And not because it's easy, but because you know what you're getting into. And if you recognize yourself more in one of the early ones, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're gonna fail. It just means you need a different kind of perspective, or a different kind of place, or a different kind of reality, or a different reason to be happy. The worst mistake is not choosing the wrong country. The worst mistake is having the wrong reasons and moving with the wrong expectations. So if you're actually thinking about moving to Italy, this channel is here to help you make smart decisions and not emotional ones. And if you're still here and this is useful to you, again, please subscribe. It's free and it does help the channel a lot. And now watch this next video, because where you move and why you move makes all the difference.